mental health in a state agency. Today I'm joined by Ross Daniello, and he's here to talk about mental health and what we can do in a state agency to better ourselves and be much happier. Talk to me.
So it's a thing, isn't it? It's one of the biggest things that we talk about now is mental health, but it's one of the things that we probably talk about the least personally. I think we're all aware that it's now becoming something that we can talk about more often, and that there are channels to do so, but it's how comfortable are people in doing it? Men specifically in what we're talking about. I appreciate there's avenues for everybody, but specifically for men, it's men have never perhaps traditionally been brought up to express their feelings, and I think men of a certain age, perhaps 40 plus, 50 plus, we're expected to suck it up and deal with it. And it's been a tough few years for a lot of people, and I think we're starting to realise now that whilst for a lot of people mental health is a bit of a swear word, it's a bit of a hiding place for people, actually for some people it's a really important topic of conversation. So the brilliant Ben Madden has come up with an initiative called Boys Club, which he's asked a few of us to get involved in, and our hope, or his hope for that, his vision for that, which he wants us to sort of help mould, is to come up with a safe space for blokes to have a chat about things that actually may surprise a few people. And somebody may go to this boys club environment, however it's built, and say, actually, I've just got a few things on my mind and I need to talk them through. I just need to make sure that actually I'm right. That's right to be playing on my mind. And they have conversations with people who have been in similar situations, understand coping mechanisms, and to just create a bit of a safe space. However that looks, it's in the formative stages.
I mean, there's the Women in the State Agency initiative, which have got the conferences, but if everyone talks about the Facebook group, and it can only have ladies in there.
Right.
And
I wouldn't know, I'm not allowed.
Yeah, neither am I. And I've been told from people who are in it that issues like this get talked about, and it's a safe environment,
which is brilliant, and it's fantastic. My wife has a group called Mummy Boost. She was involved with the NHS with regards to postnatal depression, and helped them on their journey of discovery of turning more awareness within the NHS, funnily enough, that postnatal depression isn't in the immediate aftermath of birth. It's longer than that. They have their own little safe space online, and that's women only, and I get it. Similar for
bit tougher with men, because it's, we're almost seen as we've got to be the alpha male or vulnerability.
Absolutely. And to be a leader and show weakness to other leaders is seen as a weakness, and that isn't, it's frowned upon, and it's a difficult thing to admit, and you don't want to be the person that shows yourself as a weak leader. There's a difference between weakness and vulnerability, but at the same time, if I'm a leader and I go and command, well, the best way to command is to ask, and that surely therefore shows, inverted commas, vulnerability. I need help with something, I need to understand something better. But if it's with regards to mental health, and I sit there and I think, do you know what, I'm not having a great day, and it's all kind of getting on top of me a little bit, and I'm having some pretty unpleasant thoughts about the world at the moment, and I just need to go and talk to somebody, and they're a bit worried about how that's going to make them look to either their superiors, their team members, or their peers. This will give them an environment. This will give them a place where nobody's going to judge, where actually chances are the people they're speaking to have been there before, and they get it. I've been there. It's tough being in a dark world. It's really lonely, really lonely.
Talking about loneliness, I wrote an article about the fact is that a lot of men out there do feel lonely. Can I share my
Please do.
I think we're very guilty as men of trying to be, trying to sort everyone's problems out. When in reality, you've got to, you put your own face mask on, the air mask on first. The thing that's changed my life is being part of initially Round Table, but now the Freemasons, and being with other men who are like-minded, and there's a bit of banter, a bit of leg pulling. And there are certain things you wouldn't say to the group, but there are certain you go close friends. You say, "How's it going, mate?" And some of my friends are going through some bad stuff at the moment, but they find it a release valve and just talking about it.
Absolutely. I remember a difficult time for me was after my daughter was born. That the minute you go into the labour ward, you are irrelevant as a man. Utterly irrelevant. Like, in fact, you're in the way 9 times out of 10. So you come from a position of being the protector, most, the one who shields and protects, and you have a really significant role, to having no role whatsoever at the most critical and emotional point. And that was really tough for me personally. And the months that followed with that, I struggled. The knock-on effect of that was greater than I had realised. It took me a few years. And I remember going into town, and I went into a shop to see a mate I hadn't seen for a while who had a shop in town. And I went in there and he went, "How you doing?" I was like, yeah, I'm good. He went, "How you doing?" And I completely broke down. And I hadn't seen this bloke for years. And I completely opened up everything. And he was just like, "Christ, I was unasked that." But, it was a full-on Pandora's box. It was open, and it caught me by surprise as much as it caught him, because I didn't realise how under pressure I was from myself. No, nobody else. It was me that had put myself under that pressure. And it was having somebody who, he'd asked me that question because he recognised it. He saw in me what he was going through.
Do you think this is going to work as well online?
I think it'll be challenging, but I think there. Yeah, I think it's sometimes the anonymity.
That's my fear.
Yeah, I think people are comfortable with anonymity, of asking those tough questions. I think if it can work on an agents together basis, where there's similar to mentoring, counselling's wrong because there's no counselling going on. We're not allowed to do that sort of thing. Of course you're not. We're in no position of authority, but we can be an ear, and we can also help people go, "You need to speak to somebody about this, chap, because this is, I'm here to listen, but I can't help you. There is somebody that you need to go and have a chat to, and here's the details."
The act of listening will cure most things.
100%. And to be felt that you're being listened to is hugely powerful, because that's what got me, that's what triggered me, trigger, a horrible word, but that's what got me going, was he didn't just say, "How you doing, mate?" He went, "How you doing, mate?" He looked through my eyes and wanted to know.
A big thing that I've always learned is that you've also got to surround yourself with some good mates as well.
100%.
And I think we're all very guilty of as we get into our 30s and 40s, is that you've got to surround yourself with some mates. And that's why a good thing about Round Table or Freemasons or rugby clubs are really good. Because you do surround yourself. And don't get me wrong, there's different hierarchies of these close mates and not so close mates. What would your thoughts be about getting because it's really hard work getting mates when you're 30 or 40 years old.
Yeah, it is. They wonder what's wrong with you, don't they? But no, I think when I came back up to the Midlands, I had to start again. I was really lucky. I got some childhood friends that picked up the phone like, "You're back, let's go." And they really welcomed me back. So I was really lucky. But I went to Worcester Rugby Club, and I joined the coaching staff there, and I started doing some coaching for the kids and all that sort of stuff. So I had to inject myself into a world where I knew I'd start making new friends, and I've made some great friends out of that, and that's fantastic. But it is difficult. But you've got to pick your people carefully. And the phrase is that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I'm not talking about family, because that's different. But with me, I knew that spending a lot of time with George and Stuart will get the best out of me, because I really value them. I think they're fantastic people, and I think they work bloody hard, and I think I can learn from them as well. But I think outside of that, negative people love negativity, and they will feed your negativity. So if you've got somebody who just sit there and go, God, blimey, they're a mood over there, you know, that's hard work. Well, they're either in need of your help, or they are sucking the energy out of you. If you are predisposed to being the sort of person that wants to help people, but you don't deflect it, you absorb it, you've got to find a way to expel that. You've got to find a safe haven of which to go, to debrief, to find yourself in a position where you just offload all of that, because you keep it to yourself, it'll become too heavy and it'll cause you the problems. They'll feel better, but you will have the problems. Those 5 people that you spend time with, I know that if I walk into the office, if I'm not having a good day, for whatever reason, Stuart and George, one of them will look at me and go, you okay? Even though, I mean, 9 times out of 10 it's cheer up, you grumpy bugger, but if there's just a little twinkle that there's just something not quite right, they've got my back, and we've got each other's back. And that's why it's so important. And surrounding yourself by the 5 best people you can get, who can just lift you and elevate you and inject positivity into life, and symbiotic, if you like, relationship, it's vital. It absolutely is.
Thank you for your time today, Ross.
Thank you.